Have you ever been told that life takes things away only to give you something better? It's a nice thought, but when you're in the middle of heartache, those words can feel empty, almost meaningless. Let me tell you a story that might change how you see loss. High up in a quiet mountain village, there lived a young traveler named Arham. He was known everywhere for an old brass compass he always carried. It was more than just an object. It was the last gift his father gave him before he passed away. For Arham, that compass was everything: hope, direction, a tangible piece of his past. One morning, Arham was walking through a bustling marketplace, the air filled with the sounds of vendors and chatter. Suddenly, he felt a sharp push. A stranger's hand darted into his pocket, and in a flash, the thief was gone, swallowed by the crowd. So was the compass. Arham's heart sank. Breathless and defeated, he searched every narrow alley, his hope fading with each empty corner. He found nothing. Grief washed over him as he walked away from the village, aimlessly climbing a quiet hill. There, an old wanderer sat peacefully, watching the clouds drift by. Arham, his voice heavy with sorrow, shared the story of his stolen compass. The wanderer listened patiently and then said gently, "Sometimes, life must take away what you cling to, so it can guide you to what you truly need." Arham just stared back, confused. How could losing something so precious ever be a good thing? The old wanderer simply stood up and beckoned Arham to walk with him. They followed a winding forest path Arham had never noticed before. The trees whispered in the wind, and the light filtered through the leaves. Suddenly, a child's terrified scream ripped through the silence. They rushed toward the sound and saw a little boy who had slipped into a deep ravine. He was clinging desperately to a thin branch that was creaking, about to break. Normally, Arham would have relied on his compass, on its familiar weight in his hand, to guide him. But it was gone. In that moment, with no time to think, he trusted his instincts. He started climbing down the steep slope, his hands grabbing onto rocks and roots, ignoring the scrapes and the pain. He reached the boy just in time, pulled him to safety, and carried him back up to the path. The boy's mother was there, her face streaked with tears. She hugged her son tightly, her relief overflowing. As she did, something shiny fell from her basket and landed at Arham's feet. It was a new compass, beautifully polished and crafted. The woman explained that it had belonged to her late brother, and keeping it was a constant, painful reminder of her own loss. With gratitude in her eyes, she placed it in Arham's hands. "If this helps you," she said, her voice soft but certain, "please, take it." Later, as the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the mountains, Arham sat with the wanderer again, the new compass resting in his palm. A profound realization washed over him. If his old, broken compass hadn't been stolen, he would have stayed on his usual path. He would never have walked through that forest, never have been there to save that little boy, and never have received this unexpected, meaningful gift. The wanderer saw the understanding in Arham's eyes, and nodded. "When life removes something," he said, "it does not always mean loss. Sometimes, life is just preparing you for a blessing you cannot yet see." Arham finally understood. Every painful step he had taken that day had unknowingly guided him toward something greater. He returned to the village, not just with a new compass, but with a new heart, one that was open to the unpredictable turns of the journey. He learned that loss isn't always a punishment. Sometimes, life clears our path by removing the very things we cling to most tightly. What feels like a devastating end is often just the beginning of a better, more meaningful journey. This story is a powerful reminder for all of us. When something leaves your life, whether it's a person, an opportunity, or even a cherished object, it can feel like the world is ending. But maybe, just maybe, life is gently leading you towards something that was destined for you all along. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, please consider sharing it. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that might help you see the world a little differently. See you next time.